What's up YouTube, it's your girl Leah here, and I'm back with another video for you guys today. If you're new to my channel, this is your first time seeing my face, make sure you smash the subscribe button to become part of the family. And if you're already subscribed to me, welcome back. Alright guys, so as you see by the title of today's video, today is going to be a colonoscopy and endoscopy, I guess like update, story time, and basically just getting into the nitty-gritty and talking about my results from the whole entire procedures. If you're new to my channel, you have no idea what I'm talking about, make sure you guys go watch my acid reflux video right here. But basically, I have acid reflux, and for the past 2 years, I've been dealing with a whole bunch of stuff. Okay, a whole bunch of stuff, and I had to get a colonoscopy and an endoscopy done. So if you guys want to watch that prep vlog, make sure you watch it right here. But yeah, we're just gonna get right into it. So if you're ready to hear me talk about the whole entire experience and talk about results, make sure you keep on watching. It's been about 3 weeks and 4 days since I got my colonoscopy done, and a lot has happened, but I just basically wanted to just go through the whole entire experience and give you guys my thoughts, because I feel like while my prep vlog showed exactly like what I was going through, I didn't really discuss like what I was really thinking. So I just wanted to take that time today to really just go through that with you guys, and then we're just gonna jump right into basically where I ended off in the prep vlog, where I was in the room getting prepped for the procedure and how I just cut the video right there. But we're gonna talk about everything that happened after that. So like I said, if you haven't watched that video yet, make sure you guys go watch it right here. Let's just start from the beginning. Like, I'm talking about the day before the, if you see me looking down, I have this, but let's just start from the beginning. This is the day before the prep, so this is, I believe, April 21st, I think. So basically, I was on my way home from school. If you guys don't know, I go to college. I just recently graduated. But while I was on my way home from school, I basically went to go buy the Miralax, because I did the Miralax and Dulcolax prep. Let me tell you, I was freaking out on the way to go buy this Miralax. Like, I have been freaking out since I even scheduled the procedure, which was, I scheduled this procedure like a month before, and I was freaking out the whole entire time, not knowing which prep I wanted to do, and just like nothing was making sense. I was like, none of these preps make sense. My body is not going to be able to handle it. I don't understand it. It just wasn't clicking in my brain. Like, I promise you, I was freaking out to my man, my friend, my mom, everybody was hearing in my mouth, because I just couldn't wrap my head around the fact that I had to choose a prep, and neither of the preps seemed like it was going to sit well with me. So I don't know. So I bought the prep the day before, the day I was supposed to start prepping. And when I got home, I basically put the prep together that night. For the prep, you basically buy a 238 gram container of Miralax, I believe, and then you get the Dulcolax laxative pills. I decided to do the Miralax with 64 ounces of apple juice, because I love apple juice, and I don't know how Gatorade was going to sit with me, so I was like, I'm not about to do that. But yeah, so the night before the prep, I put the prep together, and let me tell you guys, I was freaking out. Like, when I poured the Miralax into the apple juice, I started to freak out. Like, the apple juice turned white, okay? That is not okay. I was texting my man, and I was like, hey, this apple juice is turning white. And I was like showing my mom, and my nieces were there as well. And I'm just like, listen, it's turning white. Like, this is not okay. And I just started freaking out even more. But the day of the prep, I basically had a mental breakdown. Like, I was just like, I don't know how I'm gonna do this. I started crying to my mom. Like, I'm laughing about it now, but like, I promise you, it just wasn't, it's not funny. It wasn't funny. I was crying to my mom. I sat in my mom's lap and I started to cry. I ain't got no shame in my game. Yes, I cried. So what? I cried, and I was just like, I don't know how I'm gonna do this. And I feel like my fear stemmed around just my fear of throwing up. I don't like throwing up. I've been dealing with nausea basically for the past 2 years. So just the thought of drinking a whole bunch of liquid and not being nauseous from it just didn't click in my head. And I instantly thought, like, okay, as soon as I drink this, I'm gonna just like start to feel so sick. For one, I barely eat, and when I do eat, it's not like a whole bunch. That's like a video for another day. But yeah, so I was just like, I don't understand how I'm gonna drink all this prep and I'm gonna be okay. Like, nothing was making sense to me at all, girl. Nothing was making sense to me at all. But I basically had a mental breakdown, and after I calmed myself down, that's when you guys see in the prep vlog where I started to actually drink the prep. And my first impression of the prep was that it's actually not that bad. I was like, it still tastes like apple juice. I don't really taste the Miralax. I'm used to drinking Miralax anyway, so it wasn't like anything crazy, but it was fine. It was fine. after drinking the prep or whatever, it started to taste thick towards the end of the prep. So with a 64-ounce container, you're supposed to drink 32 the day of the prep and then 32 the day of the procedure. So when I was drinking the 32 the day of the prep, towards the end of the 32 ounces, it started to taste very thick and my saliva started to taste very thick. And I was just sitting here like, I don't know how I'm gonna finish this, but let me tell y'all, I drank as much as I could, as you see in the video. And literally, guys, like before I could finish my second to last cup of the prep, I was literally on the toilet. Like I was on the toilet and it was just like, dang, like you couldn't wait a little bit like until I finish it. But it's just funny when I'm thinking about it now. But then I was just like, so it was just too much. Like when I had my movement, I didn't have like any pain or anything. I wasn't nauseous or anything. It was just, I believe it was just rumbling, and then instantly I had to use the bathroom. Like I had to run to the bathroom. Like, girl, let me tell you something. If you're going to be getting a colonoscopy done, when you're doing the prep, be near a toilet. And now I understand why people said that, because I was just in my room chilling, thinking everything was fine and dandy. And then out of nowhere, boom, like it just hit me. Yeah, so basically the day of the prep, I think I remember going around 6 p.m., 6:30 over there. And I think from that time, I was going for a full like 12 hours straight, TMI. Like, on the toilet, not for like straight, but I mean, it just didn't stop. It did not stop. And I did not think it was going to last all the way into the next day. I don't know what I was thinking, but I thought it was just going to last like a couple of hours. I'm going to be fine. No, girl, if you watch the prep vlog, you're going to see that I'm up all the way until like 3 a.m. confused confused and tired and hungry and irritated. Like I was just like, I'm so hungry, I just want to eat. My acid reflux was acting up because they instructed me to not take my acid reflux at least 3 days before the procedure. So I was just, it was too much. My throat was burning, like not burning, but like it was very uncomfortable. But it wasn't anything that I haven't dealt with before, like with my throat burning with the acid reflux and stuff. But it was just too much, and I was just up. I barely slept. I'm pretty sure I only got like 3 hours of sleep that night. So now moving on to the day of the procedure, I woke up around 7 a.m. to finish the prep. And at this point, I was just over it. I was just basically on the toilet all night. Barely got any sleep, honey. Barely got any sleep at all. But I had to finish the other 32 ounces of the prep. And let me tell you guys right now, I did not finish the other half of the prep. I finished majority of it, as you've seen in the video. I personally felt like I was cleaned out enough to the point where my body was actually hurting at certain points in the video. It wasn't just cramping anymore. It was actually hurting for me to go. So with that indication, I was like, okay, I'm pretty sure I'm cleaned out. And because I barely eat as is, I don't think there's much to clean out. Like I said, I feel like I basically only got like 5 hours of sleep. So when I woke up to do the prep, I was just over it. I remember showering, thinking that, okay, I'll be fine. After I got out of the shower, I was still going. Like, it was just too much. At this point in time, with me finishing the rest of the prep in the morning, it was basically very thick. And I had to take my time in between drinking the prep now. Like, just in general, if you're going to do this, please take your time. Don't try to rush it all within 1 hour. I don't want to say stretch it out until a long period of time, but just take your time with it. Don't feel like you have to gulp everything down. That's like the worst thing you could do. Take your time drinking the prep and just take as much breaks as you need, because I remember taking at least like 15 minutes in between each cup that I was drinking, which they said to do. But if I had to take 20 minutes or 25 minutes, I would do that. I wouldn't sit here and just try to rush everything down, because at the end of the day, yes, they want you to get the prep done at a certain time, but don't sit here and feel like you need to just chug this down, because that is not okay. Like, I couldn't. I had to take time. But anyway, the prep was getting really, really thick and gross in the morning. And I remember just thinking, I don't want to know what's going to happen to me after I finish the rest of this drink. Like, I just knew in my heart that this wasn't going to end well for me if I kept on drinking it, especially because this is the first thing that I'm drinking as soon as I wake up, and I already just wasn't really feeling well because of the prep. So I just felt like in my heart it wasn't going to end well if I were to finish the rest of the prep. So I just drank as much as I could. I took my time. I took the breaks that I needed to, and then I just basically waited until the afternoon for my procedure. Now moving on to when I went to go to the doctors. At this point I was happy because I was just ready to just get this over with. So that's when you see in the video I'm over here like, we're on our way, da, da, da. Like, yes, I was on my way to the doctors. So my boyfriend was the one who drove me to the doctors and all that stuff and picked me up for the procedure. When we got to the doctors, I basically checked in, which was funny because nobody was there for like a good 5 minutes. And there were two different parts of, I guess, the little building. Like when you walked in the building, one door to your left was the place that you go when you're having the actual procedure, and then the door to the right was if you're scheduling or if you have a follow-up or something like that with anybody. So I remember walking in to the part where I'm going to do the procedure and nobody was there. So I had to go back into the other side and be like, hey, like nobody's over there. And then they had to go to the other side and grab everybody. I don't know what everybody was doing, but so I go and I check in, and then me and my boyfriend were just sitting there. I'm freaking out thinking like, oh my God, am I gonna have to like poop my pants, because, you know, I have been going for the longest time. He couldn't go back with me. Like, it was time for me to go back and he couldn't go back with me, and I was pretty much sad about that because I was just like, dang, like I don't want to be by myself. Like this whole experience already made me feel like I was very like alone, even though he was there. So the fact that he couldn't go back with me, I was very just upset about that because I really wanted him there with me. So he basically either had to just come back later when I was done, or he could sit in the waiting room that's on the other side where people go if they're scheduling their appointment or having a follow-up and stuff like that. So when my boyfriend left and they took me back, I was basically like low-key freaking out because I was just like, I'm by myself. I already feel very, very alone. Like, this is not fun. I don't know what's gonna happen. I don't want to be put under. Like, I'm scared. Like, it was just so much going on through my head, like so many emotions. But everybody was really nice. They took me back. I basically changed into a gown, had to take everything off, change into a gown, put on some socks and chill. The nurse came in, asked me a whole bunch of questions, such as like my height, my weight, my last monthly, my last period, all that stuff, and just a whole bunch of questions. And then another nurse came in and I believe she gave me an IV, and with that IV I believe it was just fluid. And everybody was really, really sweet, just answering any questions that I had. I was over here freaking out, asking if I can get Zofran in my IV because, girl, I do not want to wake up feeling sick. But everybody was super sweet, super nice. After I was done checking in, I remember the doctor who's actually going to do the procedure. I forgot what exactly their title is, but the doctor that was actually going to do the procedure came in and spoke to me as well and like reassured me that I'm going to be okay, like when I wake back up, and that I didn't really need the Zofran because the anesthesia had anti-nausea medication already in it. I remember just laying there watching TV, and then it was time to go back. And when they took me back, everybody was just super sweet. Like, the nurse was like, basically I came right on time because it's right when everybody came back from their lunch break, which is hilarious. But I got to the operating room and everyone's just like talking to me and they're prepping me for the surgery. They basically put something in my mouth that is going to like protect my tongue or whatever, and also so that they can just have easy access doing the endoscopy. And then they had me turn over to my side. I think they put a pillow like underneath my head, and I think they put one like on my back or on my other side or whatever. But that part, I'm telling you guys, I was actually very, very scared. I was very scared. Like, I felt like my life was like low-key flashing before my eyes because I just felt so scared and by myself, and I just didn't want to I just didn't know what was gonna happen. And I was basically just praying to God, like, please let this turn out to be okay, because it's just scary going through stuff like that alone and not having someone there to comfort you, and being in this room where you see a whole bunch of different machines and a whole bunch of different people in gowns and all that stuff and wires, and you hear your heart rate going off this machine, and it's a lot. But everybody was super sweet. And another thing that really freaked me out was while I was laying there with the thing in my mouth, I remember the people were like talking to each other, and they were basically saying things like, basically, today we have Leah, and today she's going to be doing an endoscopy and a colonoscopy, and basically just talking to each other about what they're about to do. And I'm just like, not what they're about to do, but basically what the purpose of the procedure is for today. And that kind of freaked me out as well. But I remember laying there and they put something like a mask over my face. And then the one doctor who was going to start the procedure, he would just tell me to breathe through the mask and that I was doing great. At this point, I started to smell something a little funny. Like, I was just like, oh God, here we go. It's starting. Like, I'm going to be knocked out within like 2 seconds. But I remember he was talking to me and I was breathing in through the mask. And as I was breathing in through the mask, things started to get a little bit slow and all that stuff. And I just basically decided to close my eyes at this point because I was like, all right, I'm about to knock out anyway. I don't need to have my eyes open because it just, having your eyes open while you're about to be knocked out, it's not a great feeling. Like, it's just scary. So ended up knocking out, and I woke up literally like 5 minutes later, even though it was probably like 2 hours. I woke up in the room that they originally had me in, and I remember waking up feeling so emotional. Like, I was so freaking sad, and I remember crying, like, and I remember everything, and I was trying to tell them, like, this isn't me crying due to anesthesia. Like, I was actually very emotional. I was filled with mixed emotions. It wasn't just me being sad, but also with me being very happy as well. For the past 2 years, it's been a lot. I've been through so much for these past 2 years, not even just because of my acid reflux, but just having to let certain people go in my life who I thought would be here for a very long time, and just having the points in my life where I felt like I did not know how I was going to push through this, or just the simple fact of not knowing what's wrong with me and going to different doctors and being told that, you know, maybe it's all with my mind, or feeling like I'm being told that I'm crazy, or that it's all in my head and that they can't figure out what's wrong with me and they don't know why I'm losing weight. They don't know why I'm nauseous for the past 2 years, and just feeling very like let down and feeling like this is the end. When I woke up from that surgery, it felt like I finally was going to have answers and I was finally going to be okay. So just all that stuff piling on to me, especially with me going to school and doing music and all that stuff, all this stuff piling on to me. When I woke up from the surgery, I was grateful in a way. I was sad, but I was very grateful at the fact that finally this is something that could possibly tell me what is going on, and I could finally feel like I'm living my life, feeling like I'm not being tied down, or feeling like I can't truly enjoy what's going on. So after I was done having a mental breakdown and crying in the room and talking to the nurses and stuff like that, I noticed that my throat felt very weird, and I'm pretty sure it's because they had the thing in my mouth and because they had to go down my throat and all that stuff. But that's the one thing I noticed, and my throat felt very weird. I didn't feel nauseous at all, thank God, but I did feel like I was going to throw up a little. I don't know why. Like, it wasn't like the feeling, but I think it was also my nerves. It was my nerves, and then the feeling of my throat feeling very dry and like, I guess, sore or whatever, just didn't really sit right with me. And I just had to coach myself through it and basically just calm myself down, because if not, I don't know what was going to happen. But I wasn't in any pain or anything. I just noticed that my throat felt very funny and I was extremely tired. I remember getting up to use the bathroom after the procedure and everything just felt all woozy and all that stuff. And then when I got back from the bathroom, I remember I just wanted to lay down and knock out. Like, I came back from the bathroom, I laid down. I think the nurse came in and she was like, "Oh, are you getting dressed?" And I'm just over here like, girl, I'm trying to sleep. Like, what you mean get dressed? I was so tired. But everybody was super sweet. But there was a point in time where I felt like I was being kind of rushed, like, to get up and get out, pretty much. I mean, obviously they have other people that they need to do their procedures on, but I just felt like I wanted to take like a 5-minute nap. Like, I just woke up out of this thing and I wasn't even there for that long. It felt like after I woke up, like, it felt like I went to go use the bathroom and maybe I lay down for like 2 minutes, but then I remember just getting up and putting on my clothes by myself and leaving. I remember hearing them call my boyfriend and letting them know that I was ready to go. When I put on my clothes and all that stuff, the one nurse helped walk me out. She didn't like hold my hand or anything. I was basically walking by myself. She helped me walk through the door, and then my boyfriend was there and I walked to the car by myself. And I remember my boyfriend was like very shocked. He was like, "What the heck? Like, I thought you would have been in a wheelchair or something and they would like reeled you out or something and I would have to help you get in the car." But I was just literally just walking. I was still tired and woozy, but I don't know, I just felt strong enough to just do things on my own, I guess. Strong Black woman, you know what I'm saying? Let me tell you, that anesthesia had me on a chokehold. Like, it had me in a chokehold for the past, like, for 2 days after the procedure. Like, I don't know, I just felt very weird. I was very tired. When I got home, by the way, I just had chicken broth and popsicles. I did not dive into no burger or pizza or anything like I've been seeing in other videos. Like, how do you guys do that? Like, I watch so many colonoscopy videos, and I just see people eating full-on burgers and rice and chicken and all that stuff after their procedure. And I'm like, girl, how do you do that? Because let me tell you, I did not want food. I think I was just giving myself some grace. I was just like, this is not the time for that. So I basically had chicken broth when I got home. Now moving on to the part that everybody is waiting for, the update, the results, what happened after all of this. What were the results of the colonoscopy and endoscopy? And we finally gonna get into it. Like I said, it's been 3 weeks and 4 days. Today is May 17th. I had my procedure on April 22nd, something like that. First things first, I'm feeling way better. I am okay. No more sore throat, no more anything. I heard a lot of people saying that they were gassy after the procedure and all that stuff, but I wasn't gassy at all. So for my results now, I'm still taking it all in. I'm still learning about my diagnosis. I'm new to this, just like you are, so we're learning together. But I have been diagnosed with mild Crohn's disease. And Crohn's disease is basically an autoimmune disease, and it's basically the body attacking itself. For my results, they found that I had ulcers, or I think it's one ulcer in my small intestines, like towards the end. With that, there's inflammation. There's a bunch of symptoms to Crohn's disease, and with my excessive weight loss, nausea, I haven't been vomiting at all. With the ulcer in the small intestines, the inflammation and all that stuff, they concluded that it was mild Crohn's disease. And there's different levels to Crohn's disease, I should say. So there's mild to moderate, I think moderate to severe, and then just severe. I might be wrong, but there's different levels, and they said like mine is not severe at all and it's just mild. And when I first found out my diagnosis, I didn't really know how to feel about it. I was happy, but at the same time I was very sad because I had no idea what Crohn's disease was. Keep in mind, he actually told me this after I got out of the surgery. He told me that it could possibly be that, but I didn't want to look into it right away because after the procedure I just wanted to get myself together, and I didn't even want to like stress myself out. But I got my results back, and it is indeed mild Crohn's disease, and I'm still taking time to just process it. The more and more I process it, the more and more it's making sense, especially like with the symptoms and with what other people are dealing with. I haven't really talked about everything that I've been experiencing so far. I haven't really give you guys like an update with what I've been experiencing, but I'm still in the process of discussing treatment. And one treatment that they did discuss with me is Humira, which is a self-injection, and there's more information on that, so you guys can do your own research on that. I'm still in the process of discussing treatment with my doctor. It's a lot to take in. While I am happy that I have a diagnosis, I'm also very sad because it feels like my body just doesn't love me anymore. I feel like I'm going through just so much, and the more and more time that goes by, the more and more I'm really questioning, like, I would have never thought when I was younger that this would be my life today, but I'm learning to live with it, grow through it, heal from it, and just really practicing a whole bunch of self-care and self-awareness and meditating and doing other stuff like waking up in the morning and going for a walk and really connecting with God and journaling and all that good jazz, and just getting back into my routine of what makes me feel like myself. Because for these past 2 years, I felt like while I am growing, there's been multiple moments where I didn't even recognize who I was anymore. But enough about that. Okay, enough about that. So basically, after I got my diagnosis, I was told that I had to get blood work done, which I did. And the blood work was basically to check me for like hepatitis A, B, C, what else? Some other stuff. And I had to do a stool sample, TMI. I am getting an MRI done because the doctor believes that an MRI would be very useful and helpful, especially in checking the rest of my intestines, because he explained that a colonoscopy can only go so far. So me getting an MRI done would help. So I'm going to be getting that done. With that, I believe they also suggested that I should get colonoscopies every year just due to the inflammation and all that stuff. But I am okay. I'm not like ecstatic, but I'm not like completely shut down. I feel like I'm in the middle right now. It's just a sense of taking everything in and learning how to get up from the situation and not letting this be the end. I got to a very dark place again after my diagnosis, just feeling like, is this how my life is going to end? Especially with discussing treatment and discussing the side effects of treatment, which I could talk about in a different video. But that's the update. I'm just taking everything one day at a time, and I'm going to start tapping into what makes Leah feel like Leah. That's makeup videos, that's makeup lives, all that stuff, TikTok videos, music, all that good jazz. I just want to go back and do what makes me feel like me, and just taking time to spend time with myself as well, and really reflecting on myself. So yeah, that's pretty much it. If you guys have any questions, make sure you guys just comment them below and I will get back to you. Feel free to follow me on all my social media lists down below. Follow me on Instagram, TikTok. Feel free to follow me on Twitter, because me and Twitter, I don't know, I'm about to delete it again, honestly. But yeah, that's pretty much it. If you guys have any questions, or if you guys want to share your experience with me, or if you have any encouraging words, feel free to comment down below. If you have Crohn's disease, comment what treatment works for you and why do you like that treatment and stuff like that. So yeah, I love you guys so much. I hope this video was very helpful, and I will see you guys in the next one.